Welcome back. You're watching NewsX with me, Medha Sharan. Our top focus remains the air quality. Now, the air quality in the national capital remained a major concern on Sunday morning, with the overall air quality index recorded at 368, placing it in the very poor category, according to the Central Pollution Control Board. Data from the CPCB's Sameer app showed that air quality at 16 monitoring stations across Delhi fell into the severe category, while the remaining stations reported very poor air quality levels. Weather conditions added to the discomfort, with the minimum temperature settling at 9.4 degrees Celsius, which is 1.3 degrees above the seasonal average. Humidity levels stood at 91% at 8:30 am, according to the Indian Meteorological Department. NewsX has been reporting on the air quality issue from the ground zero since day one. My colleagues Brian and Arzu have filed some ground reports. Let's in fact take a look.
Well, we had a flyover near the Akshardham, and here the situation looks bad. You can see a major thick layer of smog is engulfing this very place, and you can see the visibility remains a big question. The visibility still remains in a very alarming category, even though, yes, like we've been mentioning, the situation looks better than yesterday, but still the visibility is an issue here. When we are on the highway rather, you can see the fact that a thick layer of smog has reached the surface level and the visibility becomes a major question. On the right hand side, if you see the Akshardham temple, you get an understanding, get an idea that yes, the level of smog has reached down to the surface level. Here also the air quality stands up to 394, which is again in the very severe category. The government are ramping up their efforts, but still the situation looks bad itself. Here also it's a heavy vehicular movement area, and because of that the air quality index here looks far grimmer or far severe than other places itself. Among the 40 stations, this is one of the hotspots. This is one of the 16 stations that have monitoring stations that have recorded in a very alarming category, and we are on our on our effort rather to show you the situation in the national capital of how alarming this looks itself. Even as the temperatures are dropping, the cold shivers are here. The AQI is also on a high increase, and that is causing major problems to the people staying in and around Delhi. This is me, Brian Thomas, signing on campus in Dinesh for NewsX Delhi. The pollution menace continues in the national capital. We've been covering, and as the temperatures are dropping, the air quality is also increasing. Now, Delhi has around 40 monitoring stations, among which 16 stations are recording in the very severe category, and the rest 24 stations are recording in the very poor category. You can see the fact we are outside the India Gate, and India Gate is still covered with a thick layer of smog that is engulfing the national capital. Yesterday, the situation was extremely bad, but if we talk about today, the situation looks still far better as of yesterday. What you can see behind also, I'll request my camera person Dinesh to just pan around and show the fact that you can see the water sprinkler vans are going at India Gate itself, and that is done to curb pollution. That is to ensure that the water is being sprayed at regular intervals so that the dust particulate matter, the dust particles can be removed or curbed itself. Now the PM 2.5 and the PM 10 levels have been in a high increase, and as a result of that the pollution menace is also continuing in the national capital. Now yes, even though the situation here looks better, but it is still in a very bad situation. Now we are at India Gate, where the air quality is 382, again in the very severe category. Ahead what you see is the very Rashtrapati Bhavan, which is clearly not visible. And again you can see the fact that this water sprinkler vehicles being sprayed at regular intervals. But again, this is still not a permanent solution. This is still a temporary solution that we are talking about. This is cutting down the particulate matter, but again, it is still restricted to a certain area. Now, like I said, there were 40 monitoring stations, from which 16 stations are recording in the very severe category, whereas 24 other stations are recording in the very poor category. Ahead also you can see the very Rashtrapati Bhavan, which is clearly not visible because of the thick layer of smog that is engulfing in the national capital. Again, we were at borders yesterday, the Chilla, the D&D border. The situation yesterday was extremely bad, even though today looks better, but again, it is still alarming. Hospitals are seeing a major surge in cases, asthmatic patients, breathing problems people are facing, pregnant women, elderlies are the one facing the major wrath of it itself. As we are talking, GRAP 4 has been implemented, no POC, no fuel is also implicated, but again, these situations still looks bad itself. BS4s have been done fines. Lesser than BS6 vehicles are not, if they are allowed, they need to pay a fine. BS3, BS2 are not allowed in the national capital. But again, the situation still looks extremely grim. This is me, Brian Adi Thomas, signing off, camera person Dinesh for NewsX Delhi.
Well, along with the North India, the national capital also witnessing the cold waves, and right now I'm standing at the Engulfs and would like to show you the visuals around how it looks like as the temperature has gone down. There is the smog that can clearly be seen at this particular place. The visibility has gone down to like 100 meters, and in fact, as you can see, the vehicles are also moving in a slow pace, in a slow speed, as there is a less visibility in the city. And also, if we talk about the AQI, definitely the AQI is in the very poor category, which is 390. Also, I would like to show you the data and to explain my viewers how it looks like and what is the AQI in the area. As you can see, the AQI is in the very poor category. It's 390, and most of the places in the national capital recording the AQI above 400. And if we stay for a longer time in this atmosphere, in this weather, it's not good for our lungs, and it is clearly said. And these are the stations which shows us the AQI. The AQI at Anand Vihar is 433, at Ashok Vihar it's 428, at Bhavan also it's 442. So all the places, mostly all the places records the AQI above 400. ITO, which is just near me, is recording AQI 393, which is very close to 400. So that means that clearly shows the situation, how alarming it is. And also the GRAP 4 stage is already implemented in the national capital, which means that there are several restrictions that have been there in the national capital, like the vehicle below BS6 are not allowed to run in the national capital. Along with that, the environment minister has made it clear that action will be taken against those violating the norms, violating the rules, and also not following the order. And the constructions work that is still going on, the strict action will be taken on those construction sites, and the industries which are creating pollution, the action will definitely be taken against them. I'm a video journalist for NewsX in Delhi.
In fact, a major obstacle in cleaning the air is the weather condition. Let us look at why it is difficult to clean the air in winters. Now we know that the AQI in Delhi over the past few weeks has been in the severe to very severe and hazardous category. Let us now take a look at the reasons why air pollution gets particularly worse in winters. First are the meteorological factors. Now temperature inversion traps cooler, denser air near the ground under a warmer air, acting as a lid that prevents vertical dispersion of pollutants. Now, as you might have learned back in school, colder air sinks and warmer air rises. Hence, the very same factor is being applied here as well. Secondly, reduced rainfall in winters limits natural atmospheric washing, leading to buildup of dust and particles. Now we know that rainfall in winters is quite rare, so that also acts as a factor as to why pollutants are trapped in the atmosphere, because there's a lack of rainfall, and that's exactly why dispersion of dust particles is not there, and that also is one of the factors behind the air worsening in winters. Another is post-monsoon wind changes create anticyclonic circulation, trapping pollutants. So we also know that post-monsoon winds create changes in regards to anticyclonic circulation, which further traps pollutants in the atmosphere, and that's exactly one of the more reasons why the air is a lot worse in winters. Lower temperatures make air denser and slower moving, confining emissions close to the surface. Now, as we know that colder air sinks and warm air rises, that means that the density that colder air has is much more than what warmer air has, and that's exactly why it confines emissions close to the surface, again captures pollutants, which is exactly why it's a little harder in winters, which is why air pollution gets a lot worse in winters. Also, low wind speeds cause air stagnation, allowing PM 2.5 and other particles to accumulate. So, lower wind speeds again means that particles like PM 2.5 get confined into an area, which causes which is also one of the reasons why air is a lot worse in winters. Weaker sunlight and shorter days slows photochemical reactions that break down some pollutants in summer. So, we also have the lack of sunlight, rather the weak sunlight I would say, and shorter days, which slows down the photochemical process, which also leads to air getting a lot worse in winters. Dry conditions allow construction and road dust to remain suspended longer without rain to settle it. So, we also know that without rainfall, these particles that emanate during construction work get suspended in the air, and since there is no rainfall to disperse it, it also is one of the main reasons for increasing pollution during winters. Apart from that, we also know that the AQI has been a lot worse over the past few weeks, and the government has taken a lot of measures in order to ensure that the air quality does not worsen further. We also have human factors now. Cold vehicles start increase emissions of particulate matter and nitrogen oxide. So, we know that vehicles are also one of the main reasons that pollute the environment, and their emissions which contain particulate matter and nitrogen oxide also cause a lot more pollution. So, now we know that the air has turned out to be very toxic. It seems like Delhi is almost livable at this point. I am being joined by Ms. Kavita Ashok, who is an environmentalist, for more on this. Good afternoon, ma'am. First of all, now coming to the politics of it, do you perhaps think that political will weakens once pollution is no longer a matter of headlines?
Absolutely, very well said, because as far as air AQI is hitting the roof and unable to we are unable to control it, that's the time all the politicians wake up, and they are all making statements and headlines and TV channels and breaking news. But that's only for a very short period of time, which is from October to February. And once pollution settles in, I mean, it is lesser, then the topic is long forgotten. Nobody is talking about it. It's not in your manifestos, and the local leaders don't even want to answer people these questions. So it's a very sad state, truly. I feel that pollution we should have a annual program, not a winter action plan, but an annual plan which begins in January and runs through to December and then again starts. Because unless we work on air pollution throughout the year, this problem cannot be solved at all, how hard we try, because its geography is taking its geographical location of Delhi, and how winter sets in, the low wind speeds and everything, human-made reasons, migration to the capital. How can we stop all this? How can we stop people coming to Delhi for work and to fulfill their dreams and settle down? It is not possible. So I think we'll have to deal with air pollution itself instead of blaming the citizens of Delhi NCR that they are doing a lot. They are not doing a lot. It's the other factors which are more than even vehicular pollution. Industrial emissions, garbage burning, the parali, then thermal plants emissions, factories working, in the day and night. So all these factors contribute majorly to air pollution in Delhi and NCR both.
Additionally, ma'am, in your opinion, what structural changes are required so that Delhi's air quality improves?
To improve Delhi's air quality, as I just said, that we have to work throughout the year. Whether it's clean fuel, and then the thermal plants which are working on coal, they have to be, we have to find an alternate energy there. So it's all about clean fuel, clean energy, and also the political will of people from Delhi, Haryana, and Punjab. Everyone sits together and find out where we are going wrong, why we are unable to solve it. So, of course, the politicians have to take the lead role in this.
Additionally, ma'am, lastly, in your opinion, do you think would you agree that Delhi has slowly become unlivable?
It is absolutely unlivable now, and many of the doctors from bigger hospitals are recommending that people who can afford to step out of Delhi for these particular time period of winter should step out, especially I think people who are older and younger children. But Medha, tell me how practical it is. How many lakhs of people can leave their city? They have jobs, and some of them, we have lakhs of people who are daily wages also. How can they just give up everything and move to another city? So I think health-wise it is recommended, but practically it's not possible. I don't think it's the solution that we want. What we want is the solution to air pollution, not sending people away during winters. No, Delhi is a city, it's our home, we have to be here. So let the politicians find a solution to that problem first.
All right, ma'am, I appreciate you sharing your insights with us here at NewsX. Shifting focus now to Bangladesh.